Hey everyone, in this video I have a series against Mercader, the rogue from YouTube, and I'm just going to go through the duels and explain the step-by-step. I'll probably be putting together a more general rogue vs rogue guide where I explain all the different approaches and strategies and whatnot, but this one I will just go through these duels as they happen and explain the thought process behind it all. If anyone has any questions related to this video or related to my UI or just any questions that you want to ask me, post them all in the Ask Neilyo thread so I can find all the questions in one place. That way I'll be able to answer them more quickly. And my UI will be posted, it'll be linked with the password in the description of all my instructional videos and in the Ask Neilyo thread. Alright, so this first duel, typically when I do rogue vs rogue, I start out with double sap. We each sap each other because it's a fair opener, but Mercader is not used to that. He usually starts out with double shiv, so we do that in this duel. We both just stand next to each other and spam shiv, and then after the shiv goes off, we each go on to doing whatever we want to do. Okay, so there's the shiv, and then I gouge him, and then get a recoup up, and immediately go for a dance cheap shot, because he trinkets, and then I instantly cheap shot him again, and then I kidney shot him, and then I dismantle off of that, and then I start to kite. I really like going for an early dance because the first rogue to get the dance off usually is the first rogue to get the enemy rogue to trinket, and the first rogue to dance, usually then that means they're going to have a second dance up quicker, so that means they're going to get the second dance with the enemy rogue having no trinket. Since he uses trinket now and he hasn't used his dance, when he dances, if I need to trinket then I can, and then my dance is kind of gonna come back up and he's not gonna have trinket, and that's when I have a huge advantage. That's what's really good about starting off with an early dance, if you know that you can get it. I did it because I landed that gouge. If that gouge didn't land, I probably wouldn't have gone straight for a dance because I would have risked getting dismantled or gouged on dance. So yeah, now I'm just kiting since he's on stun DR, and I smoke bomb here so that he has to run around it if he wants to catch me, and then I vanish and land a sap on him, but I'm dotted, so I can't continue to sap him and get the stun DR off with the sap, so I just actually ambush him because I don't want to refresh stun DR because it's getting close to being off. So then he blinds me and I still have trinket. I don't trinket the blind because the blind isn't that threatening, it's the stun that comes afterward that's threatening. So I'm going to trinket the stun right here instantly. He evasions, so I evasion too, and then I try to gouge, and it doesn't land, so then I step kidney. The reason I try to gouge first is in case it lands. Luckily, I won't have to step kidney. And then I just spam hemo and eviscerate him during that, and now I'm kiting him here to try to force him to shadow step to me, which I'm ready for the shadow step, and I have my finger on blind. As soon as he shadow steps, I blind him, and it hits on his dance cheap shot, so his dance is wasted, and he stunned me and didn't do any damage, so I'm on stun DR now, so I'm really safe. Re-stealth in between the dots and land a sap on him, and instantly pre-med, so that my pre-med is going to come off cooldown quicker as well. And recoup with that, and then dance cheap shot him, and I make sure to hemo before ambushing so that I don't, he can't like vanish out instead of just spamming ambush and not getting that hemo off. Then I jump away from him after the stun wears off and kited him a little bit with that, and he was forced to shadow step to me, and I shadow stepped his shadow step and just eventually killed him through combat readiness because he was too low. Alright, so this duel is a bit longer, and sorry, I forgot to turn off a program that I have that messes with the colors, so the coloring looks kind of weird, but it should be, you can see everything fine, so it's alright. Alright, so we start off with the double shiv opener again. And right after the shiv, I try to go for a gouge. It doesn't land, so I immediately go into a dismantle and then get my recoup up, and he combat readinesses, and I vanish and kite away because I don't want to stay there and wait to get stunned while he has combat readiness up, because I don't want to stun him while he has combat readiness up. I should have refreshed the shiv real quick before vanishing because his crippling wore off a little too quick, and I didn't kite away far enough here. I should have. I thought I could re-stealth right here with the deadly throw in midair. If you re-stealth at the right time when deadly throws in midair, you can still stay in stealth. So that's what I was trying to do. So since I didn't get that re-stealth, I blinded him because combat readiness was still up for a little bit, and I didn't want him to get the stun on me and then be forced to trinket first. So then I dance and stun him right away, and that forces his trinket, and he trinkets and vanishes, I believe, and stuns me, and then I trinket that. And one thing to notice right here is I tried to kidney him on his trinket vanish, and it didn't land, but I still have the combo points for it. So I'm not sure if it dodged when he was in vanish, which is possible, or parried. I can't remember if it shows you when they're in stealth, if it shows you the dodge or the parry thing in scrolling combat text, but nothing popped up. So I'm not sure if he dodged or parried, but the other option is vanish could have bugged the kidney shot, but it doesn't do that very often, which is kind of weird, because usually with the way how vanish changed, like, you can still kind of immune something sometimes. It's like kind of random, but it doesn't happen very often. And the thing is, if that's what happened, then I don't think I would have kept my combo points, because if the kidney shot was going to land and the vanish bugged out the kidney shot, then the server thinks that the kidney shot was going to land, so it uses my combo points. So since my combo points didn't get used, it's either just a bug or he dodged or parried it in stealth. Can't be sure, but that happened a few times in our duel series, so it seems like he's either lucky with some dodges or parries, or this bug is happening more often in this patch. So it's better to go for a cheap shot with your dance up instead of the kidney, which kind of sucks because the cheap shot costs more energy and it lasts less time. Especially like when you're doing a half DR one, so it hinders your burst a lot. Alright, so I had to trinket his stun, and now we're just going toe to toe, and I popped evasion just to, because I'm on stun DR, so if he wants to shadow step stun me, it's going to be half. So the evasion, it's a really good time to evasion because he can't really stun me. I just vanish and ambush here to proc his cheat death. I usually don't vanish ambush that often, but I was so far ahead that I just went for this pure damage. And I think my stun DR was, yeah, he was still on stun DR just for like 10 more seconds right there. So now I know that in my next stun or dance, my next burst, he has no cheat death, so I can just kill him. He opens on me, and I can't break it. I have no recoup, which is kind of bad, so right out of this, I'm spamming recoup as much as possible. And in case he leaves a gap in his stun, if he left a gap in his stun, spamming recoup is good, because if he accidentally leaves a gap, then you can get a recoup off sometimes in between the stun lock or in between the sap and the first stun. And he didn't vanish quick enough, so I was able to get that recoup up before he vanished. If he vanished sooner, I could have been in a really bad spot without getting that recoup up. Right now I think I'm spamming combat readiness, but it's not letting me. It didn't let me do it in between the saps. So I shivved and combat readiness at the same time, and then he evasion, so I got a short recoup up and then danced. Yep, just, you don't want to hold your dance for too long because then you're just wasting time. And now I'm just trying to face him, and I dismantled him out of that dance stun. Now I'm cutting him a little bit because he's on DR and I'm ahead, so I just want to avoid as much damage as possible. I went for a gouge, but it didn't land. And just trying to face him as much as possible to get as many dodges and dismantle and parries as possible. Just spamming Hemo and making sure my recoup is up. Sometimes refreshing it early before it falls off so that I don't get stunned and then have it fall off in the stun. And I'm just spamming Shiv here, so as soon as I come out of the stun I can slow him, hopefully. And now he's kiting me, and I have Shadow Step Kidney, and just spam Hemo. And then follow it up with a Gouge and start kiting away. So now he's in a really bad position because yeah, I'm letting my stuns get off DR. He re-stealths, but he's still dotted, so I get a sap on him, but I'm gonna have to refresh it because the dot's gonna break it. I spam sap as soon as he bombs and walk into the bomb spamming cheap shot. You're able to get it off if you walk in at the right angle, if they're like in the center or if they're whatever side they're closest to. I danced late here. After I cheap shotted him, he mowed like twice, and then I danced when I kidneyed, and then he blinds me right here, and I just trinket vanish and spam sap on him and sap his re-stealth, and then he trinkets and I ambush him and it kills him. Normally I wouldn't trinket blind like that, but I knew I could just finish it right there. And normally, even if you trinket blind like that, you don't even have to vanish usually, if they're dotted though, which his dot, yeah, I think I had refreshed the dot at that point. But you could wait until right when you fall out of combat, you can trinket the blind and spam Shadow Step Stealth and get a re-stealth cheap shot on him, because usually they're not ready for that, and they won't instantly be able to stop it, and unless they're standing right on top of you and like ready to spam like Shiv or Gouge or Dismantle as soon as you trinket, then you can get that off a decent amount of the time. But it's one of those things where you only want to do once in a while, because once you do it, once against a good rogue, they'll expect it and be ready for it. What else was I gonna say? Oh yeah, that dance. I danced late, which is bad. I never dance like that pretty much. When I cheap shotted him into that smoke bomb, I like hemoed twice, and then I waited, and then I kidneyed and danced on that kidney, which is a half kidney. I could have danced during that cheap shot and gotten at least one, possibly two ambushes off instead of those hemos. And I actually see a lot of rogues do that. They cheap shot and then they don't dance until the half kidney, and that's just wasting damage by not getting as many ambushes off. Part of the reason why I did that right there is because I didn't want to run into the smoke bomb spamming dance cheap shot, because the dance would break my stealth, and I just didn't want to risk getting like gouged if he's spamming gouge or something on the dance. So I cheap shotted him from stealth instead of just dancing myself out of stealth when I got in range to cheap shot. And because of that, and just like the way you think about it kind of made me hesitant for a second to dance right away. But as soon as the cheap shot landed, that's when I should have hit dance while I was on GCD for the cheap shot. You hit dance while you're on GCD for the stun, so that the bar has time to page while you're on GCD, so you're wasting as little time as possible with that bar paging. And so yeah, other than that, everything else is pretty good, I guess. Alright, thanks for watching, and I'll be releasing new instructionals regularly.